Sam Alvey fighting Zak Cummings in April. Listen, man, I wanted to ask you how these fights they just keep lining up. Is there a certain strategy to the fight you take? Like, do you let the UFC go? Just don't give me a rematch, or the sooner the better, or like, do they meet any of your criteria?
I'm the easiest guy in the world to work with because I don't have any criteria. They ask, "Hey, you want to fight this guy over here?" I said, "Let's do it," and that has always been the case. It's led to some bad weight cuts. It's led to some short notice fights, but I think that's why they like me so much. Is I'm the guy that says yes always.
Mm-hmm. And so for you, it's the more the merrier. It's just income for the family, all that.
Yeah, I love fighting. I'm going to be training no matter what. I might as well get paid for my training.
Yeah, I saw that pic on Instagram. Dom Reyes in the house, Dan Henderson in the house. You guys had a nice little crew. We haven't seen you guys in about 18 months, but has the gym added some new killers over there at Team Quest in Temecula?
Yeah, Dom Reyes, he's now a lot more. He's in more often than he ever has been before. Jared Vandera he's making his UFC debut next month. We've got Jordan Winsky. We've got a lot of killers in the gym. Nick, what's Nick's last name? Nick he fights in the UFC. I don't remember his name, but yeah, we've got killers in the gym, and it's just good training most of the time.
Nice. Okay. And then you're the instructor for how many classes per week?
I probably teach 12 classes a week between the kids classes, the teenage classes, the adult classes. I teach the pros at least once or twice a week. I run the amateur team. So I keep myself very involved, very busy with all the fighters and athletes at the gym.
What would you say about your MMA program? I'm starting to learn more about the programs that are run in these gyms. Everybody keeps talking about James Krause and the tight ship he runs at Glory MMA in Kansas. How about Temecula? What would you say is some of the cornerstone pieces of the mentality, the culture of your guys' practice or your gym or whatever's going on over there?
Yeah, so I've got I can only teach what I know, and what I know is I really enjoy fighting. I know I wouldn't have had the career I've had if I did it because I needed to win, because I needed to do this. I did it because I really liked it. So everything we do is we try and breed, raise these fighters, train these fighters to enjoy what they do. Number one, because it's a hard sport to continue on if you don't like it. And then we've got, Joe Daddy Stevenson is one of our coaches. He's one of the happiest guys that have ever fought. Dan Henderson has always got a joke in his back pocket. Gustavo Pulgeis, he's our boxing coach. Tarek Safadine, he's a Muay Thai coach. So we've got a lot of experience from a lot of guys that really enjoy what they've done with their career and what they're helping others do with theirs.
I ask because Zak Cummings, as you know, is part of that gym. He's with James Krause. He's like his right-hand man, and the one thing I guess that I've gathered from their gym is they don't miss practices, and they let James basically hold them accountable. But what they want to make sure is that they're as prepared as possible. We got kind of a little bit of that intel, not just from James, but recently Gina Mazzani, who used to train at Extreme Couture here in Vegas, she went there and she was kind of giving us a little bit of a lowdown. So do you feel like your gym will match that intensity in the preparation for you versus Zak Cummings?
Oh, there's no doubt in the world that my gym is the most intense gym in the planet. We've got that old school way of training because Dan Henderson is the head of our gym. He was the Pride Days. He was the guy you come in, you bust ass every day, you go win some fights, and then you do it all over again. And we very much kept that alive and thriving at our gym. We train all day, every day. We've got our training partners, but then we've got a lot of training partners too. So we go in there, we enjoy what we do, but we really push hard. Time to pushing hard.
Sam, when it comes to these camps, when you look at your career, all the fighters you've fought.
I cannot hear you, sir.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
How about me?
I can hear you.
All right. Well, then goes, you zip it. By the way, who was I hearing in the background? About a year ago, you were adopting a kid, right?
Yeah, as of last Friday, I have successfully adopted my first child. It took about 22 years. Yeah, we were fostering her for about 22 months, and as of last Friday, she is a legal Alvey. She's been an Alvey from day one, but she is, in the eyes of the law, she's an Alvey.
Congrats. What's her name?
Allie, Alisanne Simone Alvey is her name.
Nice, man. How old is she? And like,
She'll be 2 in May. So what's that? 22 months. I've had her since she was born.
Congrats to you and your wife. I know you guys have been working on that for a while. It's very, very commendable as well. And you have a nice, big, growing family, man.
Oh, we've got 5 in work. The oldest is 7, so it's 7, 6, 4, 1, and 1.
There you go. All right, Goes. Can you? Let's see if Sam can hear you now.
How about now, Sam? Can you hear me now? All right.
All right, Goes. Why don't you exit and then come back, and then I'll just keep talking to Sam here. Sam, that pumped me up, man. That pumped me up when you said we're the hardest working gym in MMA. We get after it, because I'm trying to analyze what's going to be the future of this sport as everybody constantly evolves. It seems like we got a good grasp on weight cuts. You know, you mentioned weight cuts earlier. A lot of people just happen to move up. They're not doing the extreme weight cuts anymore. And then TBI, you know, like, hey, a lot of gyms are limiting their sparring and trying to be smart about sparring. But at the same time, man, if you're going to be a champ, if you're going to be winning and keeping your job at this high level, you do have to put in the work. So it's a nice gradual evolvement that these gyms and these fighters have to make, you know, from like the Dan Henderson era to now this era. So it's always great to hear like this type of intel from you guys.
Yeah, and I've never experienced. Oh, I have experienced the no sparring before. I've had injuries where I couldn't spar, so I did, and I hated every second of those camps. They were so boring, and you go out and you just feel flat. You don't feel right. So I have all the respect in the world to Max Holloway, and the dude has done more in his career than I have in mine so far. But I'm not a fan of that no sparring technique. I love sparring. It makes my MMA life so much more fun. I get to go out and, you know, I get paid to fight, but I get to have fun for sparring.
What's the rule on sparring in your gym? Like, is there a day where, hey, Fridays we go hard, or 2 times a week we go hard, and then the rest of the time we're maybe just touching and working on technique? Like, have you guys sorted that out?
We spar with big gloves on Monday. We spar with little gloves on Thursday. Friday is boxing, where we're going to hit each other, but we're not going to kill each other. Tuesday is wrestling, where we will hit each other on the ground. And Wednesday is more of an MMA, a little bit more technique over just hitting each other. But that's just the pro classes. At night, we've got the jiu-jitsu and the Muay Thai and the more boxing. We're real good with it. We know our training partners. We know how hard we can go. We know when we're injured, and we kind of know when our training partners are injured.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's give Goes one more shot. Goes.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear.
Awesome. Well, what I was going to ask you, Sam, was when it comes to camps, you know, you've seen so many different styles from fighters. You've been there, done that. Are these camps now, are there a lot of adjustments that need to be made from camp to camp? Say for Zak Cummings, is it more about preparing for him, or is it more about preparing Sam Alvey?
It's for preparing me. I'm going to train the same way no matter who I'm fighting. I may focus on little things. I may focus on a jab more, or a cross more, or I'm going to look to roll a little bit more. So there are things like that. But for the most part, I know what kind of fighter I am. I know what I have to do, and I think I know what kind of fighter he is. So I'm just going to make sure I'm, on point. I'm sharpened and ready for action. Because I know if I'm sharpened and ready for action, he doesn't stand a chance.
You brought up weight cuts in the past. This one's going to be at middleweight.
Yeah.
How much different does your life have to change when this happens?
Significantly. I got about 40 pounds to go. 40 pounds to go. But it's okay. I'm not used to it recently, but I'm used to it a lot throughout my career. I always walk around 225. And then I got to work my way back down to 185. If I can lose 25 pounds and then cut the last 15, that'll make everything pretty easy. Well, easy, quote unquote. It'll never be easy, but it'll be worth it when I'm getting my hand raised.
So if you're walking around, let's just say the Performance Institute, and you come across Dana White and he says, "Hey, I heard you went down to middleweight again. Are you still my anytime, any place guy?" Or
oh yeah, no, I've always said if they need me to fight 70 again, I'll groan and I'll get there. If they need me to fight 205, I'll groan and I get there. And if they need me to fight heavyweight, anyone but Nogano. I take anyone but Nogano.
Wow, so you'd even do 70 if you had to?
I love the UFC. I love what they've done for me. I love the career and the life they've helped me develop for myself.
Damn, come on, 170 though. You don't need to do 170, dude.
I don't, but you remember they asked me to do it on Tough, and I made it twice. And I've sworn never again, but if they need me to.
So, Sam, you mentioned just how much you love doing what you do. What is the particular, if there's one thing you can point to, what is it that you love about fighting? Is it the actual fight? Is it the preparation, the camaraderie between you and your teammates? What is it that you love so much? Because we're all staring at you, and you're this nice guy, always smiling. You've always welcomed us in the gym. You're one of the nicest people we know. What is it about fighting that you love?
One of my favorite things about my career is, here, I'll show you guys. I never at any point have to wear shoes. I am barefoot 98%. I have to run a little bit and I'll put some shoes on. The rest of the time I am barefoot. And I love it. I love having the freedom to be able to choose my path. As long as I show up and I win, I can keep doing that. And I love the freedom it's represented. Sparring, like I said, sparring and fighting, it's all fun. But at the end of the day, I am in complete control of my destination.
About 3 years ago, roughly, you told us, man, I think I got to get out of California. And we were like, no, man, that's where we're from. You crazy or what? But, bro, let me tell you something. We live in Vegas, as you know, and they are building houses left and right because a lot of people are making this exodus from California. And for me, I won't get into the political thing, but for me, the one thing I noticed for sure was the state tax thing, you know? But I wanted to see if you could give me an update. You know, did you fall back in love with California, if things changed in any way, or you still can't wait to get the hell out, or what's your update with California?
Well, there's no falling back in love with California. I never loved it to begin with. I tolerated it at best. But actually, as of right now, my wife and I have a 5-acre ranch bought, or at least it's an escrow in Tennessee. That will be the future home of Smile and Sam, and then I'll camp where I need to camp, whether that's back here in California. But yeah, she and I, we cannot wait to get out of the state, and we will never look back. I hope that all these people moving to Vegas area don't come and ruin your state like they ruined this one. But I cannot wait to get out of Cali.
What part of Tennessee? Can you share that?
Yeah, I'll be in Murfreesboro, which is about 45 minutes. I'll be at the northern end of Murfreesboro, so really about 30 minutes from Nashville. It's a beautiful area. It's green. There's rivers. There's lakes. There's hunting. It's actually a little horse ranch I'm buying. So I got to learn how to ride a horse, and then it'll be good.
You got to wear shoes for that, right?
I'm gonna have to wear shoes for that. Maybe I'll be that weird guy that horseback rides barefoot.
So you never know. Yeah, Kevin Von Erich was a pro wrestler, and his thing was barefoot. And then there was pro football guys. Remember, guys, both of you? I'm sure you're old enough to remember the barefoot kicker in the NFL. We don't see them anymore, but like in the 80s and 90s, there was about 10 of them out there.
I don't remember that, but y'all have a little more experience than I am, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. There used to be some barefoot kickers in the NFL. I remember a guy named Mike Hansford. He kicked for the Rams, and one day they had a game in Chicago when it was snowing. I was like, oh God, that's brutal. But he was good. He was good. There was a few of them out there. They don't really come back to me right now, but that's one guy for sure I remember. But now they all wear their shoes. Okay, so that means once you move and you're in escrow, so it sounds like somewhat similar or somewhat soon, but that means no more teaching or anything. You'll just be camping back in Temecula or wherever, and that'll be it. But no more teaching.
Well, we're gonna figure that part out. I love teaching. It has been part of my career for as long as I've been a fighter. And my intent is I'm going to have my own gym in Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So if anyone out there is watching from the area, hit me up, and I'll give you the best training in Tennessee. But I don't know how fast that'll be. Like we're going to develop it, and I don't want to just jump into it. I've seen a lot of fighters put all their money into buying the greatest gym that's ever been, just to go belly up shortly after. So we're going to ease into it. We're going to make sure it makes financial sense, and we're going to go from there.
On your ranch, the gym will be, or in town?
Ooh, that's a good idea, putting it on the ranch, but we'll see. It'll probably be in town, but I do like the idea of doing it on the ranch.
Okay, and lastly, will that mean you will? So it sounds like you would do your training there, your teaching there. So your time at Temecula, Team Quest Temecula, will be over soon.
I plan on camping out here. I can't get better coaches. They're all here. That's one of the reasons I'm slow playing what's going to happen in Tennessee exactly. And maybe I can find a local gym. I'd be happy to teach at until I start my own place, if they're okay with that. But for the foreseeable future, my main source of income is going to be fighting, because I love doing it. I'm still pretty good at it, and I'm looking forward to having a good second half of my career.
I think you and Zak Cummings is going to be a fun scrap, man. I can't wait. Thanks for the time today. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Sorry I couldn't give you longer. I got too many kids for that.
It's all right, man. And congrats again on the adoption of your new baby girl.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, sir. We'll talk again soon.